You keep waiting for the right conditions, the right time, the right boss, the right amount of money sitting in the bank before you finally start. Here's the truth nobody hands you at the door. That season isn't coming. It was never coming because the right conditions were never the problem. Your philosophy was the problem. Not the economy, not your zip code, not the family you were born into, not the manager who never saw your worth. Your philosophy, the way you think, the way you explain your own life to yourself every single morning, that's the hand on the wheel. And for a lot of you watching this right now, that hand has been asleep for years. So let's wake it up. Here's a picture worth sitting with for a second. Two people, same town, same starting salary, same rough start in life. One of them spent the last 10 years reading, saving, building a quiet skill on weekends nobody else noticed. The other spent the last 10 years waiting for a sign, a break, a better mood from the economy. Both of them will tell you, honestly, that the last 10 years went by fast. Only one of them built something in that decade the other one can't simply borrow. That's not an accident of fortune. That's 10 years of two different philosophies, quietly compounding in two completely different directions. There are two kinds of people walking around with the exact same 24 hours. One is planting. One is standing in a field, arms crossed, waiting for rain to fall on ground nobody ever planted. Which one have you been? Don't answer out loud. Just for the next 50 minutes, be honest with yourself. Millionaires are not made in the moment they cash the check. They're made years earlier, alone, in some small, unremarkable room, the day they decided to change how they think before a single number in their bank account had changed at all. That's what this is. Not a trick, not a shortcut, not an app. A mind trained on purpose until discipline stops being something you force and starts being something you simply are. Let's build that mind, starting now. Here's the gap most people never name, so they spend their whole life standing in it. On one side stands the person who wishes the market was kinder, wishes their parents had taught them about money, wishes they'd started 10 years ago. An entire life spent wishing at the edge of a canyon, looking across at a life they wanted, never building anything to get there. On the other side stands the person who became, not because it was easier for them, not because they were smarter or luckier or born under a better sign. They became because one day they stopped asking their life to be easier and started asking themselves to be better. Doesn't start with sweeping changes or grand gestures, but with small, deliberate actions repeated each day. And most people, without ever consciously choosing it, adopt the philosophy of the passenger. It sounds like, if only. It's not fair. I'll start when things calm down. That philosophy feels comfortable. Some days it even feels true. But comfortable and true don't always share the same address. Here's the other philosophy, the one this video is going to hand you piece by piece for the next 40-some minutes. Wherever you are, whatever happened to you, however unfair the start, the next chapter is authored by you, not the economy, not your ex, not the boss who never gave you a shot. You. Spend the next year wishing, and you'll arrive at next year exactly as you are now, just older. Spend the next year becoming, and you'll arrive as someone your current self wouldn't recognize in a photograph. Same 365 days, two completely different arrivals. That's not motivation talk. That's just math. Let's make it even more concrete, because abstractions are easy to nod along to, and then forget the moment you open your phone again. Wishing sounds like, I wish I had started investing 5 years ago. Becoming sounds like, I'm opening the account tonight, with whatever I have, and treating the amount as the least important part of the decision. Wishing sounds like, I wish I was the kind of person who could speak in front of a room. Becoming sounds like, I'm volunteering for the next presentation at work, badly, on purpose, because badly is how every skilled person in that room got started. Do you notice the difference? Wishing always points backward, at time that's already gone, or sideways, at circumstances you don't control. Becoming always points at the next 24 hours, at the one lever you've had access to this entire time, yourself. Now, somewhere in the comments under a video like this, somebody always asks for the hack, the trick, the app, the 5-minute shortcut. I understand the hunger behind that question, but I have to tell you something plainly, because sometimes kindness sounds like a hard truth, spoken gently. There is no hack for becoming somebody. You can hack a launch. You can hack an algorithm for a season. You cannot hack character. Character gets built the way a tree gets built, ring by ring, season by season, mostly in the years nobody's watching. And here's the part that should excite you instead of discourage you. Because character can't be hacked, it also can't be taken from you. Money can vanish in one bad year. A market can turn overnight. A business can fail by Friday. But the person you had to become to build that business in the first place, that stays. That's the actual asset. The money was only ever proof of it. So if you've been collecting tactics, the perfect morning routine, the perfect app, the perfect 5-step formula, and you still feel stuck, here's why. You've been decorating a house with no foundation. Let's pour the foundation. And the foundation always starts with the same law. Older than markets, older than banks, older than money itself. Farmers have known it for 10,000 years. Most people who call themselves modern somehow forgot it completely. Here is the law. You do not get to harvest what you didn't plant. And you do not get to skip the waiting between the planting and the harvest, no matter how badly you want to. Picture a farmer standing at the edge of a field in early spring. The ground is cold, nothing is growing. There's no proof yet that anything ever will. And still, he gets on his knees and puts seed into dirt. Why would he do that? There's no harvest in sight. Nobody drives by and applauds him for it. He plants anyway, because he understands something most people never learn. The season you're standing in determines the job you're supposed to be doing. Spring is for planting, not harvesting. Most people get this backwards in their own lives. They want summer's harvest while they're still standing in their own spring, arms crossed, refusing to plant, waiting for the field to fill itself. Let me say the law again, plainly, so it actually lands. Plant corn, you get corn, not apples, not gold. Corn because that's what went into the ground. Plant discipline every day, and eventually you harvest capability. Plant excuses every day, and you harvest more excuses, with less time left to fix it. You don't get to plant one thing and harvest another. Life does not negotiate on that point. Ever. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because I'd rather this change something in you than simply entertain you for 50 minutes. Every day you've been alive, you've been planting. Whether you meant to or not. Every workout you skipped was a seed. Every book you didn't open was a seed. Every hard conversation you avoided was a seed. Every dollar you never bothered to track was a seed. You never actually did nothing on those days. There's no such thing as nothing in a field. If you're not planting what you want, you are by default planting weeds. Because the field doesn't stay empty out of politeness. It fills with whatever falls into it, your intention or your neglect. So when someone says, "I don't understand why my life looks like this," I always want to ask one gentle, dangerous question. What have you actually been planting? Not what did you want? Not what did you deserve? What did you put in the ground, day after day, for the last 5 years? The field doesn't respond to wanting. It only responds to planting. Here's the encouraging half of this law. The half people rush past because the first half stung a little. Since the field always returns exactly what's planted, that means you hold full authority over your next harvest. Starting today, not when you feel ready, starting with the very next seed you choose. You cannot replant the last 5 years. That field already grew what it grew. But you can walk to a new row, right now, tonight, and put a different seed in the ground. If you want a harvest of financial freedom, plant financial discipline, the boring kind that never trends online. Tracking what comes in, tracking what goes out, saving before you spend, not after whatever's left. If you want a harvest of respect in your field, plant competence, sharpened in private, on days no client is watching and no algorithm is grading you. If you want a harvest of trust in your relationships, plant consistency, showing up the same on your worst day as your best one. Here's a number worth actually sitting with, not just skimming past. Improve at your craft by a single % a week, not a dramatic leap, just 1%, and compounded across a single year. You are not 1% better. You are roughly 1.5 times better than where you started. Compounded across 5 years, the gap between you and the version of you that never planted becomes almost impossible to describe in percentages anymore. It just looks like two different people. Nobody feels that 1% on a Tuesday. That's exactly the point. The field never asks you to feel the harvest coming. It only asks you to keep planting on the days you feel absolutely nothing happening at all. So the next time discipline feels pointless because today's seed didn't obviously turn into today's harvest, remember that a farmer has never once expected a seed to sprout the same afternoon it went into the ground, and would think you were a little foolish for expecting anything different from your own field. And here's the piece nobody puts on a poster, because it's not exciting enough for one. Between the planting and the harvest, there's a stretch where absolutely nothing appears to be happening. The seed sits underground. It's dark down there, quiet, and if you dig it up early just to check on it, which is exactly what impatient people do, you kill it. That silent season is not proof nothing is working. It's proof something is growing where you simply can't see it yet. Most people quit in that exact season, not because the law failed them, but because they mistook invisible for not happening. Don't dig up your seed to check on it. Trust the season, then plant again tomorrow anyway. So if the law of the harvest is true, and it is, it's the oldest law we have, then the real question was never whether you'll feel some kind of pain on this road. You will. The real question is which pain you choose. Because there are exactly two, and every person alive right now is carrying one of them. Here's the trade every human being is making, whether they've noticed it or not. You either carry the weight of discipline, or you carry the weight of regret. Only one of those gets lighter with time. Discipline, in the moment, feels heavy. Waking up before you want to. Saying no to the thing that feels good right now. Doing the rep nobody's grading. Having the hard conversation instead of the easy silence. It feels like carrying a stone up a hill. But here's what most people miss. That stone gets lighter every day you carry it. Because the stone isn't just a stone, it's you, getting stronger from lifting it. Regret works the opposite way. It feels like almost nothing at the start. That's exactly what makes it dangerous. Skipping the workout today feels like relief, not weight. Avoiding the hard conversation feels like peace, not weight. Spending instead of saving feels like freedom, not weight. But regret doesn't announce itself on day one. It waits. It compounds quietly in a back room for months, sometimes years, and then one day, usually around a birthday, or a mirror, or a bank statement you've been avoiding, it walks out of that room and hands you the full bill, all at once, with interest attached. Discipline, heavy at the start, lighter every day after. Regret, light at the start, heavier every single day after. Until one day, it's the heaviest thing you own. So let me ask you plainly, no music behind it. Which weight are you choosing this week? Not this year, this week, because the years are just a stack of weeks, and you're building that stack right now, one choice at a time. I want to be fair to you here, because this can start to sound like another lecture about cold showers and 5 a.m. alarms, and that's not what I mean by discipline. Discipline isn't punishment. Punishment is done to you. Discipline is something you choose on behalf of a future version of yourself who isn't in the room yet to argue for what he needs. Think about that for a second. Right now, the you from 5 years out cannot speak, cannot vote, cannot argue his own case. He's entirely dependent on whether the you sitting here today decides to represent his interests. Discipline is simply you showing up as that future person's advocate, today. Skipping dessert was never about the dessert. It's a vote for the version of you who respects his own body. Reading instead of scrolling for 20 minutes isn't about the 20 minutes. It's a vote for the version of you who knows more next year than he does right now. Saving that first $100 isn't about the $100. It's a vote for the version of you who isn't controlled by an emergency, because he already prepared for it. Every single day, you're casting a vote for one of two people, the one you'll become, or the one you'll spend years regretting. And here's the part that should genuinely wake you up. Not as a threat, just as how time actually works. There's no neutral vote. Not deciding is a decision. Skipping discipline, by default, is choosing the other option. There's no bench to sit on here. You're on the field either way. So the real choice was never discipline or ease. There is no ease on the other side of that choice. There's only a different, heavier kind of hard, delivered later, with interest, usually arriving at the exact moment you can least afford to pay it. Let's make this concrete, because a lesson without an example is just a nice-sounding sentence. Have the uncomfortable conversation with your business partner today, and you get clarity, maybe even conflict, for a week. But you get a business built on truth. Avoid that conversation to keep the peace, and you get comfort today, and a business quietly rotting from the inside, exactly where nobody's checking. Track every dollar for the next 90 days, and you get a slightly annoying, unglamorous habit. And by the end of it, a level of control over your money most adults never reach in their entire lives. Keep not looking too closely at your spending because it's stressful, and you get relief today, and a bank account that keeps quietly deciding your future without ever asking your permission. Do the rep, and you get sore, and a body a little more capable tomorrow. Skip the rep, and you get comfortable, and a body a little less capable tomorrow. So slowly you won't notice, until the day you very suddenly do. Learn the uncomfortable new skill your industry is shifting toward, and you get weeks of feeling like a beginner again, at an age where feeling like a beginner is humbling. Doesn't start with sweeping changes or grand gestures, but with small, deliberate actions repeated each day. Doesn't start with sweeping changes or grand gestures, but with small, deliberate actions repeated each day. Same trade, wearing a different outfit in every single area of a life. Discipline is the small weight you agree to carry today. Regret is the crushing weight you'll be handed later, without ever agreeing to it. Choose which one you carry. Now, I need to say something to those of you who already tried, who already paid the price of discipline for a while, and then life happened anyway. A setback, a failure, a season that looked exactly like winter, no matter how well you'd planted. I haven't forgotten about you. That's exactly where we're going next, right after we deal with a threat that has nothing to do with how hard you're trying. Here's something farmers understand that most people planning their own life completely ignore. A field doesn't just need seed, it needs a fence. Because the moment you plant something worth growing, two things start showing up uninvited: weeds and animals that would very happily eat your harvest before you ever get to it. Let me translate that out of the metaphor for a second. The weeds are the small, low-effort inputs you let into your day without ever deciding to. The noise. The scroll that eats 45 minutes and gives you nothing back. The show that gives your brain the feeling of learning without the substance of it. Weeds don't ask permission. They just take root in whatever ground you leave unguarded. The animals at the fence line are something else. They're people. Not bad people necessarily. Just people who are, right now, planting a completely different kind of field than the one you're trying to grow, and they'd like company in that field. Misery doesn't just love company. Comfort loves company too. Mediocrity loves company most of all. Because unlike misery, mediocrity never even announces itself as a problem. Here's the uncomfortable question hiding inside all of that. Who has access to your field right now? Not who do you love, not who you're related to. Those are different questions, and I'm not asking you to abandon anyone. I'm asking something narrower and more useful. Whose habits, whose standards, Whose default conversation about money and effort and ambition are you absorbing on a daily basis, whether you chose to or not? Because here's the law underneath the law. You don't just become what you plant, you become what you're around. Spend enough time around people who treat discipline like a punchline, and discipline starts to feel a little embarrassing to you too, quietly, without a single argument ever taking place. Spend enough time around people who track their money, protect their mornings, and speak about their goals like they're already underway. And that standard starts to feel normal to you as well, also without a single argument taking place. Nobody ever announces which one is happening to you. It just happens, the way weather happens, the way weeds happen, slowly, until one day you look up and the whole field looks different than you remember planting it. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life in some hard, dramatic gesture. That's not maturity. That's just a different kind of avoidance. That means being honest about which conversations are feeding your field and which ones are quietly grazing on it. That means choosing, on purpose, to spend some part of every week around a book, a mentor, a community, a single conversation that pulls your standard up, instead of just keeping you company at the level you're already at. You already do this with food, probably, or you know you should. Nobody stays surprised for long that eating badly every day produces a body that doesn't feel good. Apply the same honesty to your inputs. What have you been feeding your mind on a daily basis? A steady diet of comparison, outrage, and other people's highlight reels will produce exactly the harvest you'd expect from that diet. You cannot out-discipline a toxic environment forever. Eventually, the fence matters as much as the seed. So build one, not out of cruelty toward anyone on the other side of it, out of respect for whatever you're trying to grow on your side of it. Protect the field. Then let's talk about the other threat no fence can stop, the one that comes from the sky, not the ground. Quick gut check, because we're roughly at the halfway mark, and I'd rather ask you now than let you drift through the second half on autopilot. Of everything so far, the harvest law, the two prices, the fence around your field, which one landed the hardest? Which one made you a little uncomfortable, in a good way? Hold on to that one. Not all of them, just the one that stung. That's usually the one your life is actually asking you to plant first. Everything else in this video will still be true whether you act on it or not. But that one, the one that just made you flinch, has your name on it right now. Let's talk about winter. Not the season on a calendar, the season in a life. The stretch where the business didn't work. The relationship ended. The plan collapsed. The money ran out faster than the dream did. Here's what winter feels like from the inside. Permanent. It always feels permanent from the inside. That's the cruelest trick winter plays. It convinces you, while you're standing in it, that spring was a story you made up. Go stand in any orchard in January, though, and look closely at the trees. They look dead, bare, gray. Nothing that looks like life anywhere on them. And yet, if you know anything about orchards, you know that's not death. That's dormancy. The tree hasn't quit. It's simply pulled all its energy underground, into the roots, where you can't see it, to survive a season it never chose and cannot control. That's what failure actually is, for most people who go on to build something real. Not the end of the story, a dormant chapter. Nobody hands you a calendar for your own life with the exact date winter ends. You don't get that certainty. You just get the law. Winter has never once, in the entire recorded history of this planet, been permanent. Every single winter has ended in a spring. Not because it was owed one. Because that's what a season is. A season, by definition, is a stretch of time, not a location you get stuck in forever. So here's the reframe I need you to actually carry past this video, into your actual week. Failure is information, delivered in a hard season, about a strategy. It is not a verdict, delivered forever, about you. A failed business tells you something about that model, that timing, maybe that team. It does not tell you that you, personally, are incapable of ever succeeding at anything for the rest of your life. That's not what the evidence says. That's just winter, at its coldest hour, whispering something designed to make you quit right before spring, which always arrives with crueler timing than any of us would like. Here's something worth knowing about actual farmers, the real kind, not the metaphorical kind I keep using. The harshest winters often produce the strongest root systems. Tree that only ever lived through mild, easy seasons never had to dig deep to survive. Comfortable weather never demanded it. A tree that survived a brutal winter has roots reaching further into the ground than one that never had to fight for water. Do you understand what that means for you? There's a specific trap that makes modern winters feel colder than they need to. You're living through your actual unfiltered season. Bare branches, cold ground, nothing to show yet, while watching a screen full of other people's harvest photos, carefully lit, posted only on their best day. You end up comparing your root system to someone else's highlight reel, and it's an unfair comparison every single time, because you're seeing their spring and living your own January side by side, as if the two were happening in the same moment. They are not. You have no idea what their actual winter looked like. Most people only post the orchard in bloom. Almost nobody posts the bare branches, the years it took, or the harvests that failed first. Compare your chapter to your own chapter, not to someone else's highlight reel. That failed launch, that job loss, that year everything fell apart, if you let it, instead of quitting in the middle of it, isn't just a setback. It's root building. It's exactly the kind of season that produces the depth needed to hold up something much bigger, later, that a person with only easy seasons could never hold up. Now, I want to be careful here, because there's a version of this message that turns into nonsense, and I refuse to hand you that version. I'm not telling you failure feels good. It doesn't. I'm not telling you to just stay positive while your life is on fire. That's not wisdom. That's decoration. What I am telling you is this. Winter has a job, and so do you. Winter's job is to strip away whatever wasn't strong enough to survive it. Weak strategies, weak habits, commitments you never fully believed in anyway. Your job, during winter, is simply to not quit the orchard. You don't have to bloom in winter. Nothing blooms in winter. A tree isn't failing at its job by producing no fruit in January. You only have to still be standing, roots intact, when spring finally does what it has never once failed to do. So if you're in a winter season right now, and some of you watching are, I know that, hear this clearly. This is a season. It has a shape, and a season, unlike a life sentence, ends. Keep your roots in the ground. Stop asking winter to feel like spring. Start asking yourself the only question winter actually requires an answer to. What am I going to still be doing on the coldest day of this season that spring is going to need me to have already done? Now let's talk about the quietest force in all of human achievement. Quieter than luck, quieter than talent, quieter than any lucky break. Compounding. Picture a single piece of paper, folded in half, then fold it again, then again. Fold that same sheet 42 times, if you somehow could, and it would be thick enough to reach the moon. 42 folds. Not 4,000, 42. That's what compounding does. It takes something so small it looks like it's doing nothing at all, and multiplies it, quietly, invisibly, fold after fold, until the result is so large it looks like a miracle to everyone who wasn't paying attention to the folding. Here's why this matters more than almost anything else in this entire video. Most people judge a habit by asking, what did this get me today? One good workout, you don't look different tomorrow. 20 saved dollars, you're not rich by dinner. One chapter of a book, you're not suddenly wise by bedtime. So people, quite reasonably on the surface, conclude it isn't working, and they stop folding on fold number 3, convinced it will never reach the moon, right as the entire miracle of compounding was waiting in the folds they didn't stick around for. Here's the version of this that should genuinely unsettle you, in a useful way. Compounding doesn't only work for you, it works on you, in every direction, whether you're steering it on purpose or not. Read 20 pages a day, And in 1 year, that's over 7,000 pages, dozens of books worth of thinking, poured into your mind one small fold at a time. Watch 2 hours of mindless content a day instead. And in 1 year, that's over 700 hours, an entire working year of attention, folded quietly into somebody else's pocket instead of your own growth. Same law, two completely different harvests. You don't get to opt out of compounding. You only get to choose which direction it runs. This same law runs quietly under your reputation too, and almost nobody thinks about it in these terms. Show up on time, keep your word, do a little more than what was asked, across 100 small interactions in a row, and you compound something that eventually opens doors no resume ever could. Because trust, once compounded, starts vouching for you in rooms you're not even in. Cancel plans a little too often. Stretch the truth a little too easily. Do just enough to get by, across that same 100 interactions, and you compound the opposite. Not one dramatic betrayal, 100 small withdrawals, until the account of your word is quietly overdrawn, and you're the last one to find out. This same law runs through your energy too, not just your bank account or your name in a room. Skip sleep to steal a few extra hours from the day. Cut corners on your health to move faster in the short term, and you're not stealing time. You're borrowing it, at a rate your body eventually reprices without asking your permission, usually right when you need that energy the most. Protect a decent bedtime. Move your body most days. Drink the water instead of the third coffee. And none of it feels like progress on the day you do it. It only shows up later, as an energy and a clarity that the people who skipped all of it to grind harder quietly don't have anymore. Here's the part about money specifically, since plenty of you came to this video with money on your mind. Real wealth, the kind that lasts, is rarely built from one dramatic decision. It's built from a boring stack of small, repeated ones. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, protect it from your own impatience, and repeat that for years without needing applause for any single instance of it. There is no fold in that entire process that feels impressive on the day you do it. Folding paper never feels impressive. Not on fold 1, not on fold 20. It only becomes undeniable near the very end, which is exactly why most people quit folding long before the part that would have mattered. I want to say the next part slowly, because it's the whole engine behind everything in this video. Small. Daily disciplines. Not big, occasional heroics. Small. Because big is hard to sustain, and sustaining is the entire game. Daily. Because compounding needs frequency the way fire needs oxygen. Skip too many days and you're not compounding anymore. You're just restarting, again and again, and calling it effort. Disciplines, plural, because one good habit alone is a nice accessory. A stack of them, reinforcing each other, is an entirely different person. Here's a question worth actually sitting with, not just nodding at. If you did exactly what you did today, every day, for the next 5 years, who would you be at the end of it? Not who do you hope you'd be, who does the actual math produce? For some of you, that question is exciting. For some of you, it just landed like a small stone in your stomach. Good, let it sit there for a second. That's not unkindness. That's the most useful discomfort you'll feel all week, because it's pointing you straight at the one thing you actually control. You can't control the market. You can't control other people. You can't control the length of a winter. You can control what you fold into today. So fold something worth multiplying. All right, enough philosophy for a moment. Let's get practical, because a lesson you can't take home with you tonight is just entertainment. And this video wasn't built to entertain you for 50 minutes and leave you exactly where it found you. Here is what I want you to actually do. Not in 5 years. Tonight or tomorrow morning at the very latest. First, pick one field, not 5. Right now, some of you are mentally overhauling your health, your money, your relationships, and your career, all in the same week, starting tomorrow at 5 a.m. I understand the enthusiasm, but that's not discipline. That's a New Year's resolution in a business suit, and you already know how those usually end. Pick one field, The one costing you the most right now. Plant there first. Second, choose one seed small enough that you cannot talk yourself out of it. Not, I'll read for an hour a day. Read one page. Not, I'll save 40% of my income. Track every dollar you spend for 7 days. Nothing more. Not, I'll build a business this year. Send one message to one potential client this week. Make the seed embarrassingly small. Small enough that skipping it feels more ridiculous than doing it. That's the size that survives a bad day. And bad days are the only days that actually test a habit. Good days never needed discipline. Anyone can plant on a good day. Third, decide tonight what you're planting tomorrow, before tomorrow arrives. This is the piece almost everyone skips, and it's the one that quietly decides everything. Willpower in the morning is limited and fragile. Most of it gets spent choosing what to wear, what to eat, what to answer first in your inbox. If your discipline depends on a fresh decision every morning, you've built it on the least reliable hour of your whole day. Decide the night before. Lay out the shoes. Write the one task at the top of the page. Set the transfer to savings before you're tired enough to talk yourself out of it. You're not relying on tomorrow's motivation. You're relying on tonight's decision. That's the entire trick. And it isn't really a trick. It's just moving the decision to the hour you have the most self-control, instead of the hour you have the least. Fourth, track the streak, not the outcome. This is where people quietly sabotage themselves. They plant a seed for 4 days, then check whether they're rich yet, or thin yet, or successful yet. And because they're obviously not, after 4 days, they quit. Don't measure the harvest on day 4. Measure the streak. Did you show up today? That's the only scoreboard that matters during the planting season. And the planting season is always longer than any of us want it to be. And when you miss a day, not if, when, because at some point you will, the rule is simple. Never miss twice in a row. 1 missed day is an accident. 2 in a row is the beginning of a new, quieter habit you didn't choose on purpose. Fifth, and this is the one most people never do, which is exactly why it will separate you from most people watching this video right now. Write down, tonight, who you're planting for. Not in some vague poster quote kind of way. Specifically, is it the child watching how you handle money more closely than they're listening to what you say about it? Is it the version of you at 50 who either respects this year or resents it? Is it the parent who worked through a whole winter so yours wouldn't start below 0? Write down that name, or that face, or that future date. Because on the day discipline feels heavy, and it will, probably by Wednesday, willpower alone won't be enough to carry it. A reason will be. 1 field, 1 small seed. Decided the night before. Measured by the streak, not the harvest. Planted for someone specific enough to survive a bad Wednesday. Sixth, and this one ties every other piece together. Give yourself 1 short, honest check-in at the end of each week. Not a performance review. A field walk. 10 minutes. Same day each week. Ask yourself 3 questions and answer them honestly, with nobody grading you. What did I plant this week that I'm proud of? What weed crept in that I need to pull before it spreads? What's the 1 seed I'm planting next week? That's it. No elaborate system. No app required, though you can use one if it helps you stay consistent. A farmer who never walks his own field starts missing problems while they're still small enough to fix by hand, and only notices them once they need a much bigger tool. Your weekly field walk is how you catch the weed while it's still just 1 weed, instead of finding it 3 months later as the whole back corner of the field. That's not a 5-year plan. That's a tonight plan. Now let me show you 2 versions of the same person, 5 years from tonight. Same starting point, same bank account, right now, tonight, as you have this exact minute. Same doubts, same tiredness, same unfair start, if that's what you've got. Version 1 didn't change the planting. Life got busy, it always does, and the small disciplines quietly got crowded out by everything urgent and nothing important. 5 years passed, the way 5 years always pass, slow in the middle of it, and then suddenly, alarmingly, all at once, on some random Tuesday, when the mirror or the bank statement finally said something impossible to keep ignoring. Same job, more tired. Same debt, a little larger, wearing new interest. Same conversation still unresolved, 5 years staler. Nothing dramatic happened to this version of the story. That's actually the saddest part of it. No single catastrophe, just 5 years of small, unplanted fields, adding up to a winter with no orchard in it at all. Version 2 planted the small seed. Not perfectly. There were missed days, bad weeks, one stretch in year 2 where everything nearly fell apart. But the streak, more often than not, held. The page got read, the dollar got tracked, the message got sent, the hard conversation, eventually, got had. Nothing dramatic happened to this version either. That's the part people don't expect. There's no single lightning bolt day where it all clicked into place on camera. There's just a Tuesday, 5 years out, where this version of you realizes the field looks completely different and can't actually point to the one day it changed because it changed on all of them. Picture the actual Tuesday morning for each of them, because specifics do something generalities can't. Version 1 wakes up to an alarm that already feels like a small defeat, checks a bank balance he's learned to glance at quickly and look away from just as fast, and spends the commute rehearsing, again, the conversation he still hasn't had with his business partner, the one that's been quietly rotting for 3 years now. Version 2 wakes up most days before the alarm, not because mornings got easier, but because 5 years of kept promises to himself make getting up feel less like punishment and more like continuing something already in motion. He glances at a bank balance he's actually built a relationship with, because he's looked at it honestly every week for 5 years, instead of flinching away from it. The conversation with the business partner happened back in year 1, badly, awkwardly, and it's been clean ever since. More capable in the body, more in control of the money, more trusted in the relationships that matter, because trust got planted daily instead of promised occasionally. A quiet body of skill, built up in hours nobody applauded. Here's what I need you to actually notice about both versions. They started identical. Same conditions, same unfairness, same tiredness on day 1. The only difference across 5 whole years was what got planted on the ordinary days nobody was filming. That means the version of you 5 years from now isn't waiting on some dramatic turning point you keep expecting. It's being decided this week. Honestly, it's being decided today, in whichever of those 2 directions you plant in the next 24 hours. So look at both of those people one more time. One of them is, right now, the more comfortable choice. Only one of them is the version you actually want opening that door in 5 years. So here's everything this video actually asked of you, stripped down to the studs, no decoration left on it anywhere. Stop wishing for a different season. Start planting in the one you're actually standing in. Stop waiting for discipline to feel light. It won't, not at first, but it's still lighter than the alternative, every single time, no exceptions. No matter how convincing the exception feels in the moment. Stop treating winter like a verdict. It's a season. Seasons, unlike verdicts, end, but only for the ones who kept their roots in the ground instead of walking out of the orchard. Stop looking for the harvest on day 4. Look for the streak. Stop letting other people's habits quietly become your default. Build the fence. Guard what you're growing. Stop measuring a habit by what it gave you today. Every fold counts, even the ones that felt like nothing at the time. You were never actually missing the resources. Plenty of people with less than you have planted their way into more than you currently have. What you were missing was a philosophy, a decided, repeated, unglamorous, daily way of showing up for a future self who is entirely depending on the version of you sitting here right now. That's what separates the field that feeds someone for the next 20 years from the field that stayed empty out of politeness, waiting to be asked. This is the actual mind of the person who ends up wealthy, in every sense of that word, not because they found a shortcut, but because they stopped looking for one, and started planting instead. You have exactly one thing to decide before this video ends, and it's smaller than it feels. What are you planting tomorrow morning? Not tomorrow's motivation, tomorrow's actual seed. Small, specific, embarrassingly simple, already decided tonight, already sitting there waiting before the excuses wake up and start arguing with you about it. Plant that one thing, then plant it again the next day. And somewhere in a future you can't see from here yet, the way a farmer can't see July from the middle of a cold, quiet March, a harvest is already on its way to a field you haven't even finished planting. No one was ever coming to plant your field for you. It was always going to be you.